Hi, I'm Jeff Brazil with the online programs from the University of Arkansas. In this chat, you will hear from Chad Cox, Senior Associate Director of Transfer Central. Chad is going to give us great insight into all aspects of transferring to the University of Arkansas. Hello, Chad. Nice to see you today.
Thanks, Jeff. Good to be here.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
We're very excited to have you here today. Could you just talk a little bit about your role in the university and a little bit about Transfer Central?
Yeah, so Transfer Central is really a recruitment arm for transfer students for the University of Arkansas. We have a staff of 4 that works specifically with on-campus students, and of course the global campus works with online students as well. So we work with students in the transfer process leading up to the point of enrollment, and that's when they get handed off to the academic support teams here on campus.
Okay, that's awesome. That's a great, important role to have.
Absolutely.
At the university. From your expertise, what are some of the best strategies when deciding to transfer to the university?
I think one of the best things that students can do is to have a horizon perspective. A lot of times transfer students, they make their decisions a little bit later in the process, and that causes frustration for the student. If we can learn to look a little bit further up into the distance and see what's coming next, when we can plan out programs and classes that make that process a lot more seamless for the student.
Yeah, to make sure that they're getting into the classes they want and to go in early and to kind of have an idea of what they want to do. That I believe that's very, very important too.
Yeah.
Can you tell me some more important aspects of the application process that students should be aware of?
Yeah, I always laugh because I get asked, when is the deadline to apply? And yes, you can apply pretty late in the process, but when you do that, you cost yourself opportunities. So I say apply at the beginning of the semester before you want to start. So if you want to start in the fall of whatever, apply in January. That gives us plenty of time to receive your transcripts, process your transfer credit. If it needs to go to the department for evaluation, it gives time for that. It's well ahead of the academic advising process as well, so you can advise early. As you know, our students get to take advantage of advanced registration, so they can register for classes in early April for the fall or early November for the spring, alongside current students. So they have that opportunity. But when a student waits to apply until the very end, they've missed that opportunity. The same is true for scholarships as well. So I just think applying early and reaching out and saying, hey, what should I be thinking about?
Yeah.
That's where our office really helps students plan out the process.
Okay, just great to have that big picture perspective.
Exactly.
Whenever they're applying, yes. Could you talk a little bit about the transfer credit report?
Yeah, so in Workday, students are able to see their transfer credit posted. Typically, they see things posted in a couple of different ways. What students love to see the best is the direct equivalents, right? Accounting 1305 equals accounting 2715. That's not always the case, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't transfer. A lot of times it may be accepted as accounting 199T, which means we do accept it, but it doesn't align exactly with what we teach in our accounting classes. So it still counts typically as an elective or something along those lines. So it's still counting toward graduation for most majors. It just may not be the exact same class. And then of course they'll see the non-transferable stuff. But all that's posted in Workday after the student is admitted. They're able to see how it applies to their degree program as well.
And if they have any questions on different things, they can reach out to your office directly to...
They can. We're not academic advisors, and we're very clear about that, but we do have some great tools where they can look to see what they can be taking in the process. Most of our programs have degree sheets posted online that are easily accessible, and then of course we have our course equivalency guide that has tens of thousands of courses from thousands of institutions across the country. They can see what's already been evaluated from their school and kind of plan out a successful approach from that standpoint.
Yeah. I think that's very important to have all that information out there. And if they have a big perspective, they get all the information that's going to help lead them to success here. Yeah. Could you talk a little bit about the new student center?
Yeah, so this is where students get confused a little bit. So when students apply for admission, they create the new student center. This is where they will do all of their pre-enrollment activities. This is where they'll find their scholarship application, where they can upload documents other than an official transcript that has to come through the registrar's office itself, but any kind of documentation, whether it be an essay, maybe a permanent resident card, something along those lines, that can all be uploaded in their new student center. That's where they will see their admission decision and, more importantly, their next steps. And it will be their guide all the way up of how to who to contact about creating a registration appointment, And then enrolling in classes will actually take place in Workday. And that's when a student kind of changes from that applicant stage into an enrolled student stage.
Okay. So sign up kind of a one-stop shop for all the first steps, and once it goes through one thing, it's going to give you the next step to where you need
Exactly. Yeah. If you ever in doubt about what you should do next, always go back to your new student center. Your admissions counselor contact information will be listed there. Your next steps will be listed there. Tabs about orientation, registration, all those types of things.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I know we get a lot of our online students that are always interested in scholarships and financial aid and different things. And I know we have our online student scholarship, the W. Manning Scholarship, that's available to them. Could you talk about some other scholarships and financial aid process with that as a transfer student?
Yeah, one of the things that we do through Transfer Central is we do a financial aid webinar and scholarships. We talk about what makes for a good scholarship application, what readers are looking for in an essay, what's important in a letter of recommendation, and of course deadlines and stuff like that. Students are best to know that there are multiple pools of money, and those multiple pools of money can add up greatly if you're paying attention to those deadlines. So the thing that everyone knows about is going to be the FAFSA, right? The FAFSA determines if a student is eligible for Pell Grants, student loans, work study, stuff like that. And then there's also state of Arkansas money. So if you have a student from the state of Arkansas who wants to study online, they can use the Arkansas Academic Challenge Scholarship. Then there's institutional funds. Those are our scholarships that we talk about most often. That's going to be an April 1st deadline for transfer students, or October 15th for students starting in the spring term. What the W. Manning that you mentioned is actually through a departmental scholarship, and that's through a separate scholarship application, which is only available January 1 through February 15th each and every year. So again, another reason to apply early, so you have a chance to apply for all of those scholarships. Because if you can get funded from 4 or 5 different sources, now you're really making a difference. And then outside of departmental or university scholarships, there's a lot of private scholarships out there. And this is where we see a lot of students who, if they're willing to do their homework and put in a little bit of the elbow grease, they can get awarded quite a bit of money. We've had students with as much as $30,000 in outside scholarships. The average is about $3,300 for our incoming students in general. A website we typically like to recommend is called fastweb.com. I do recommend setting up a separate email address because you will get tons of email things. So basically you can go in and say, this is who I am, this is what I want to do, this is what I care about, these are my academic background, and this is what I want to do. And it will go and find scholarships that you may be eligible to apply for. Those may require an essay. They may be very, very specific for a student from a particular county for a particular major, studying online or on campus. And a lot of times, because of that very specific criteria, students don't apply. A lot of times those agreements are, though, written like with preference to a student. So if there's not a student who meets that initial preference criteria, it can go to another student. So thousands of dollars every year go unawarded because students simply do not apply. So put in that time, spend an hour a week just surfing through that stuff, seeing what you can do. If you do that over a course of a year, that's 50 scholarship applications. And if you get, even a quarter of those, that can add up to several $1,000s.
I mean, that is very important. You just got to put in the extra time, and it can help, and that's a big thing to get school taken care of and try to get some scholarships. I know a lot of our students are interested in that. With transfer, I've noticed also on your website and through your department that you guys do a lot of different webinars and different things. Could you talk about those and how students can sign up for those? And I think those are very important to get your foot ahead in that.
Yeah, absolutely. The webinars are designed to walk students through the process of what they can expect in the next 2 or 3 weeks throughout the application process. And we do it each and every semester. So we may start out with a high-level overview about how the application works and general deadlines. The next one may be more about, hey, you've been admitted. Here's how academic advising works. And then after that, we talk about scholarships and what makes for a good scholarship application. After that, we talk about, hey, now we're going to go into Workday. You should have already talked to an advisor. You know what you need to take. Here's how you physically register for those classes, because they will do that on their own. Then we talk about resources and different stuff like that. We're also very inclusive in our audience, so we try to include online students as well as on-campus students, because sometimes the process is a little bit different for those populations.
I know you mentioned meeting with an advisor. Could you kind of elaborate a little bit more on that, on like the process of when the student gets to meet with the advisor and how that works after meeting with the advisor?
Yeah, absolutely. So each academic college is a little bit different, and that's probably where students get the most frustration. Is there's no one answer for everything. It depends on who they are. So if they are in the Walton College of Business, they have to accept their admission, and then the Walton College emails them a form to fill out to request an advising appointment to their brand new UARC email. If they don't ever accept that admission, they won't ever get that process. That's how Walton likes to track their students. The Fulbright College also has a form they like to do. Other colleges, once you're admitted, typically you can reach out and send an email or a phone call and say, I need to be advised. Academic advising may be something different for a lot of students. We require it each and every semester at the University of Arkansas. That may not be the case at the college they're coming from. So they're like, can I just register? Well, we want you to have a plan, right? We want to make sure you're taking the right thing. So academic advising is required each and every semester, not just the first time that you enroll. So really just pay attention to the website. The online website has a fantastic step-by-step process of who to contact and what to do there. So we always recommend that for our online students. And then just generaladvising.uark.edu/transfer is a great way for students to see for on-campus populations.
For some of our community college students and junior college students that are transferring, would you have any extra tips that might help them in their process of transferring? Like I know the 2+2 agreements and different things like that that some departments have. Yeah,
so we have a lot of wonderful opportunities. Students love 2+2s. A lot of times they get confused about what that means. So a 2+2, commonly referred to, is really just an academic agreement. And this may be a list of courses that an academic college or major at the university has partnered with that community college to align curriculum so that you have a direct step of what you should take there before you transfer. We have several of those, but not every program has that, which is why we recommend students being an advocate for themselves and going out and pulling those degree sheets that are on our website and easily accessible. They're not behind a login or anything like that. And then compare that to our course equivalency guide so they can see where those classes can get plugged in. Another thing that I think students kind of forget about is if they transfer with an associate degree already, an associate of arts, an associate of science, or an associate of arts in teaching, we accept all of the academic core without any question. So, random fact, the state of Florida requires one natural science class, or lab science, I should say, for their university core. We require 2. But if they complete their AA before they transfer to us, we're not going to make them go back and take another science class unless it is specifically required by the department as a major requirement for that degree program.
That's great information for our community college and transfer students. I know that we get a lot of them, and those questions are asked a lot. Is there anything else that you, like before we end this interview, is there anything else that you'd like to talk about the importance of transfer and how they can reach out to you and the ways that your department can help?
Yeah, absolutely. So the easiest way is to reach out to transfer@uark.edu. That is our general email box where we have questions through that. We also have a text message line. They can reach out and ask questions. For online students, your OSLOs, your online student liaisons are a fantastic resource.
Awesome.
We actually use them quite a lot too when there's a question we don't know an answer to. So definitely encourage all those resources. But just reach out, ask questions, check out our website. The biggest thing I would say is really, like I said, like we started out with our conversation, look to the horizon. If you know you're going to transfer and be in the Walton College of Business, there's a reason our Walton College is the top 25 public program. It is a little bit different, especially with math requirements and things like that. So maybe make sure you have finite mathematics before you transfer. Because if you don't have that in place, it may limit the classes that you can take here. And that can have an impact on your financial aid if you're not full-time and stuff like that. So we want to make sure students are prepared for that jump and the amount of classwork they need to take at the same time. Along those same lines, College of Engineering coursework, they really want to see you through Cal 2 before you start here. It also has a big impact on the success rates of our students when they transfer.
That's great. Well, Chad, we want to thank you today for visiting with us. We're very thankful that you come with us. And your department just really helps all of our transfer students out with a lot. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you. It's an important population for us.
Yes. Yep. And thank you for watching. And if you have any questions and are interested in any of our online programs offered, you can visit our website or contact information that is listed in this video. Have a great day, and remember, go Hogs.